Now, no one wants a match to be called off. It doesn't help anyone, doesn't help the teams, the players involved, the organizers who had put this together, and definitely not the fans. And more often than not, almost always, in fact, a cancelled match, a match abandoned because of fans, isn't a pretty sight. The animosity is gruesome and nothing good can come of it. A football match got called off in Kolkata last evening, the season's first Kolkata Derby, in fact, the biggest football fixture in the country, in a city that arguably holds the key to the sport itself. A match that was featuring city giants Mohun Bagan and East Bengal was called off because fans of both clubs were protesting the rape and murder of a trainee doctor in Kolkata's hospital. The match was abandoned even before kickoff, and the decision was taken after Kolkata police met with the organizers. It's just the only thing they could resort to because it was a massive crowd. Take a look at what Salt Lake Stadium had turned into. Now, we often advocate keeping sports away from politics, but it is difficult to do so, and we've seen enough examples everywhere, time and again. One, of course, was last evening, the protests in Kolkata, a stark example. But the matter at hand, too, is one that is bound to pervade everything. People in Kolkata and all over the country, in fact, have been enraged, and it's only been a week since the incident. Now, this is one episode that has unified voices all over the country. Football and its fans didn't stay away from this either. Fans of Mohun Bagan and East Bengal united to show their dismay over the heinous crime that had taken place in their city in India. We want justice! 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 This protest derailed the Kolkata Derby, but to think that fans of these two clubs came together without caring for the game to take place is telling. That's the impact that this horrific episode has had on just about everyone in the country. Now, to give a little backgrounder to the uninitiated, Mohun Bagan versus East Bengal rivalry is massive. It is one of the most intense rivalries in the world of football, popularly called the Kolkata Derby. This face-off in India dates back to over 100 years, and this is one contest that has not petered out despite the passing of time. Even today, the competition is just as fierce, and the one key aspect that makes this rivalry that much more exciting, intense and timeless are the fans. Fans of both the clubs cannot even see eye to eye. They will never be seen together. They are more fierce a rival off the pitch than the teams themselves on it are. Mohun Bagan is the oldest club in Asia, and it came to be in 1889. The club had players from Kolkata, the locals. And then, of course, East Bengal was formed some years later in 1920 to represent the immigrant population in Kolkata coming from, yes, East Bengal. So one club featuring the locals of Kolkata and the other the immigrants, the classic us versus them. The rivalry has a cultural and historical significance. There can be no common ground here. And to think the two clubs are barely stone's throw away from each other, less than 500 meters separate the two in the city. FIFA considers it to be one of the most iconic rivalries in the world. It stands at par with other international rivalries like, say, the El Clasico featuring Barcelona and Real Madrid, or the Manchester United and Liverpool derby. Now, while these two are intercity competitions, still boasting of intense strife and discord, the perfect example I can give to make a viewer outside the country relate to this face-off is that the Kolkata Derby is pretty similar to that of the Milan Derby, that pits city rivals AC Milan against Inter Milan. And just like in these matches, fans almost always get into brawls during the game and even after. So much so that the security for Kolkata Derby is always on high alert, just to avoid any mishaps. which is why these two sections of fans coming together for something far bigger than a game was very heartening and indeed a rare sight.
हम लोग मोहन बगान ईस्ट बंगाल बाद में पहले भारतीय एक भारतीय नारी के ऊपर अत्याचार हुआ है इस अत्याचार जो कोई वर्ड नहीं है इस अत्याचार को एक्सप्लेन कर सके
ये लड़ाई सिर्फ ईस्ट बंगाल मोहन बगान की नहीं है ये पूरा भारतीय का लड़ाई है ये आपका एक लड़की के ऊपर अत्याचार हुआ हम लोग का जो फेमस डर्बी है जो इतना सालों से मोहन बगान ईस्ट बंगाल का पूरा दर्शक यहाँ पे आके जमा होता है खेला एंजॉय करता है वो रातों रात बंद कर दिया
ये जो डर्बी है ये मुद्दा उठाने का था दो गैलरी से एक ही आवाज एक ही नारा लगाना किया था कि वुमेन सेफ्टी हम लोग के सिटी में अभी सेफ नहीं है और हम लोग का एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो है वो फ्लॉप हो चुका है
We are protesting against that heinous crime so that the actual criminals are arrested and the actual criminals get punishment. We are protesting for that only.
All of this pretty much sums up what fans really felt. They weren't East Bengal or Mohun Bagan supporters on the day. They were enraged people who stood together in protest. Many fans were even arrested because the demonstration turned a little rough. Police had to resort to a baton charge. Now, as the match was cancelled before the fans entered the stadium, both the teams will be awarded 1 point each. The fans will, of course, get the refund for their tickets, but I'm sure they weren't really concerned about any of this. Because for the very first time in the history of this rivalry, fans of the two sides came together for something, keeping their differences aside, showing that there was something far more important than a rivalry on the football pitch. Sure, a rowdy protest isn't the answer, is not the solution, but it showed another example of sport and those involved in it, invested in it, uniting for a larger cause, one that even puts their bitter rivalry for decades to one side.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
On this today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon will move across to the West Indies